Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear the second day of July. We got a big show lined up. Everybody getting ready for the 4th of July festivities, and we got all kinds of things happening all around the Panhandle. But let's get started with our weather brought to us by Hayden Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. They're going to be kicking off a program right after the 4th and all. We're going to talk about them later. We're looking at a high today of 92, low of 79. The whole week is just about, high here on the coast in the low 90s, and the low is going to be like 78 or 79 all week long. About a 20% chance of rain in the morning, 20 to 30 maybe along the coastline. We're going to have these summer thunderstorms, and now keep in mind we don't have a lot of them, but they get very intense in some areas. Lightning popping around, and I'll have some pictures to show you later on in the show of exactly what I'm talking about. So be aware of these strong thunderstorms in the summertime here in Florida. Water temperature, like I say, 88.2. Our river reading is brought to us by Mountain Dew. Take it outside with Mountain Dew. The Apalachicola Bluntstown is interesting. It's at a 5.1. It's ideal. It is ideal for fishing right now. And it's not much movement, just a little bit of a drop. The Choctaw Caryville, look how it jumped up real fast, all the way up to 2.7, but it's going to start dropping a little bit, but it's a little bit high today compared, but it's a really big jump, but it's going to drop out really fast if you want to get in the mouth of those sloughs and catch some of those catfish as it starts dropping out. There'll be some good catfishing right there. Tie chalk brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn right here on 23rd Street. Good local folks here. Now we're look at the tides this week. Now is that amazing? These are some of the strongest tides you will see all year here in the San Andrew Bay system. The high tide is going to be right around 9:05, and then it's going to start going out, be low tonight at 8:11. We've got a strong outgoing tide. So early morning though, right now, it'd be a great time to be on the water. I'm telling you, there'll be some big fish caught in our bay system all week long, early in the morning like this. So be aware of that. If you want to fish early on July 4th, it'd be a good time to go. The marine forecast will be coming out of the west at about 10 to 11, and then dying down later on in the afternoon, not much, but about 9 to 10. All right, take a break. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Glad you're with us this morning. We're getting started on some pictures. And what I love about showing these pictures, first of all, they're fresh and they're new, and I don't show the same one twice, but it shows how much stuff goes on in the outdoors here in the Florida Panhandle. So this is reflecting right here, dead middle of the summer, the first week of July, what's been going on the end of June, the first couple of weeks of July. This is a reflection of what's going on. So let's start with Larry Bassford. This is Travis's dad. And you all know Travis coming on the show all the time. I don't know how that happened right there, but I told Jeff my iPad is getting very sensitive. All right, let's go. Here we go. So here we go. I took a day off to go fishing with Travis and Nicole. We do live in paradise, so let's get the grill hot. Check out these pictures here how about that? Is that some fine fish? And look at the color of the water on this group of pictures here. That's Travis and Nicole. They've got a day off from FWC, and what do they want to do? They want to go fishing. Beautiful picture there. That's some fine fish. There goes Travis smiling. He's struggling here on this one, but they're getting it in. Look at that pole bent. Now they got a light rig there, and that's one of those big fish right there. And Nicole, look at that grouper. That's some good eating right there. Good job, Nicole. All right, let's go with my buddy Tim Kahneman. Tim is an excellent fisherman, and he loves to fish. Former ball player from Mosley 100 years ago. Look at Tim. That's a good fish right there, Tim. Good fish. Well, you're showing a lot of these big old red snapper now. All right, here it is here when I got back to the shore. Look how big that is. A big red snapper. All right, how about Laura Peacock? Y'all will send this to her husband, Ross. Awesome morning on the water. Good fishing right there, Ross. That's some good eating right there. And let's jump into the woods in the summertime. People think about, well, we don't have to go to the woods in summertime. Jose Ponce, who's been on our show before. He is the ultimate outdoorsman because he'll fish in the day and hunt at the night. And this is, I'm sorry, it's just jumping around like this. It's gotten so sensitive. Let's get back to where we're right here. All right. I'm having some trouble with this. Jose Ponce. Okay, here we go. All right, we got that one. All right, I like tarpon 1, me 0. I like this. I'm going to talk about tarpon later. We got Anthony Watson sent this in, and maybe tomorrow I can land him instead of watching him jump and wave goodbye. That's what tarpon do. Tarpon are hard to get up the boat. They are strong jumping fish, really strong. Okay, how about our buddy Bobby Smith? Steve McLemore sent this, and Bobby Smith has been on the show, caught over 50,000 bass, or amazing, and he's still doing it. Check that out. Still catching bass and winning tournaments. Good job, Bobby Smith. I have to get you back on the show again. All right, Nat Harris. Remember we talked about him catching those tagged red snapper. These are the two he caught the other day. Caught today at the honey hole, and these are the tags, okay? You can't really read what's on them. Each one of those tags worth $250. And he's got a number on here to call. Now he's caught 3, folks, he's caught 3 tagged red snapper out of the same area at $250 per piece. Nat Harris has won $750 catching red snapper in that honey hole of his. So don't ask him where's that, because I know he don't tell you. How about, we know we had Dr. Sunseri on last week, and he was getting ready over the weekend. They were going to fish the Pensacola Big Game Fishing Club tournament. And look at here, he caught Jeremy Sunseri with the first tag and release of the tournament. Right here, they got his name on the wall, the endorphin. He got 200 points for catching. Got a picture of it. They tagged it and released it over there in the Pensacola Big Game Fishing Club. Good job to our own Jeremy Sunseri. Good job, buddy. And here's a couple of pictures. You know they had a good time now. He's got it. Look at here. He's got his everything's covered but his face. I'm going to have to get on to him. But now he did. I like it here. He's got his big hat on right here, so he's in good shape there. I know they had a good time. But if you look now, you wonder where those boys are? Look in the background. What is that back there? That's the oil rigs. So I'm thinking they left Pensacola, went straight there south of Venice, and caught these big fish, because that's you can do that. It's not as far from Pensacola over there as it is from Panama City over there. But good job. I know that was fun. Okay. Speaking of having fun, Victor Hathcote. They went out of Orange Beach, Alabama with his buddies, and this is only about half the fish. There were 2 other carts, well, read it right there, 2 other carts full of black fins, and ours, and no big yellowfins. He talked about the water being dirty, and that kept the yellowfins away. What do you do when you can't afford a fish finder? You get your buddy, hold him by the ankles, and tell him look down there for the fish. I got some buddies that would do that. All right, one more picture of red snapper. This is coming from Mark Bosler. When the snappers are bigger than your baby. Now that's a framer right there. Good job, Mark. And my great nephew, Hunter Jordan, fishing in St. Joe Bay. Hunter, he's a big freshwater fisherman. He's learning the saltwater. Since his dad's the head coach at St. Joe, he's getting a lot more time to fish in that area. Good job, Hunter Jordan. Okay, we got that's just right here, and within the past week here in the Florida Panhandle. And I had some freshwater pictures of David Bird and his wife have been catching a lot of big brim off the Apalachicola, off the big river. And I know over there in Choctawhatchee River, there's been a lot of brim being caught. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. I get fascinated with a lot of things in the outdoors, and one of the things, I mean, still, and even upcoming things happening and things happened in the past, it holds a fascination to me. And one of the things that fascinates me so much is our tarpon fishery, but even beyond that, how people will come in, good outdoorsmen, and say, oh my goodness, they have tarpon here. Can you believe they got tarpon in the Florida Panhandle? And they start shooting video and everything of it and sending it to people. And it's amazing to me that people don't realize it. And I started, one thing I learned, I didn't know how far back it went until I was doing the research in my book, and I got sort of sidetracked doing my research about some of the tarpon catches and all, and how long they've been doing it, and special guides that did it. And this picture, I'm gonna start right here. This came out of a newspaper now in 1927, out of the local newspaper. And what are they talking about? They're talking about it's time is approaching. They put this ad in the paper. Can you imagine that? For the silver king tarpon, of course, king mackerel and others, but they're waiting for you for your lure. And make arrangements to go fishing with me. I have boats for rent or charter. That was from Wallace Caswell, who was another amazing guy. But anyway, I just want to show you how long tarpon been around. This was 1927. This is out of my book. And this guy right here, I've showed this before, but I still, one of my favorite pictures. This particular, okay, y'all see that picture? That's Lee Porter. That's in Lynn Haven. He's not too far from where the Lynn Haven Bridge is right now with this picture. Now, how big, people want to know how big this tarpon was? Well, okay, in 1928, it's 175 pounds. It measured 6 feet, 7 inches, and had a 40-inch girth. The huge tarpon was caught near Southport in North Bay. Okay, so that sort of puts things in perspective if there ever been a big tarpon in the area. And Deer Point Dam wasn't built until 1962, so they were tarpon fishing. Lee Porter had a group of, had a clientele coming in from Birmingham, these high-dollar people, and they would come down here and pay him good money. They would stay at Lynn Haven Hotel, which is not, of course, not there anymore. It's at where Florida Avenue ends into the North Bay, if you be exactly, you want to know exactly where it was. And they would stay there, and they would fish, and they would come in, and what's fascinating, let's see if I have it here. Okay, this guy, I'm gonna read this to you. He guided Gordon Robinson in Birmingham, and he caught a 60-pounder. The next day, James Eddy. Now, check that out, James, E-D-D-Y. We got some kinfolks here from Birmingham. Both men sent the fish back to Birmingham to be mounted. Can you imagine putting ice on that tarpon back in 1928 and sending it to Birmingham, Alabama to be mounted? Okay, that's how adamant they were. Birmingham, Atlanta, and Montgomery was his 3 markets with fishing for tarpon. So all these people coming in and say, "Oh my goodness, the tarpon here, folks! They've been here. They've been fishing for them strong since the 1920s, right here. It's been fascinating. It's been a fascinating fishery and all. So I just wanted to bring that out to you. Now, speaking of the tarpon, it made me think about the SS tarpon, the steamship tarpon, because we have so much business with Tarpon Rock Seafood, and the book right here by my late friend and Captain Richard Hawley. This was the story of this. A lot of the locals know the story, but a lot of folks don't realize what had happened. The tarpon was the boat right here. You can see the picture of it here, and it ran. I got it written down. They ran 1,735 successful trips. 1,735. And what happened on September 1st, 1937, and it started running in 1903. And it was starting in Mobile. They had Mobile, Pensacola, Panama City, St. Joe, I'm sorry, they skipped St. Joe, went Apalachicola and Carabel. That was the route. They'd bring in the mail, especially in those early days. They'd bring in all the mail, all the commerce, and it'd also be a passenger liner also. So they did. The tarpon was famous, and Captain Barrow was the captain, and he was just, he just kept it on time. He was had a reputation, was great. On September 1st, 1937. I'll tell you about where they were located. It came in, a heavy storm came in, and it had about where Highway 79 dead ends into Highway 98 out there on the beach, out in that area there. And they were within sight of land. This heavy storm came up, and they started throwing big waves. They were taking on waves, and they could have, as they looked back on and did an inquiry, there were 19 people died and 12 people survived. Out of those 19 died, Captain Barrow went down with his ship. But as it started sinking, here's a picture of here. Richard Hawley and I had breakfast every morning after Panhandle Outdoors until he got really sick. But I was with him when he was writing this book on a daily basis. He did some extensive research. He got an inquiry here. So great history. The last voyage of the SS Tarpon on September 1st. And what Richard did, he actually went to Mobile and got the court records about when they testified, the survivors testified as to what happened on board the Tarpon. It was fascinating to glimpse back into what was going on then. It was just a normal fishing, a normal trip. And all the guys were talking about this and that, and then they got caught in a storm. And a lot of people said if Captain Barrow could have beached it, they all would have survived. But he was trying to make it. He thought he could make it. He wasn't that far. He wasn't that far from Panama City, as far as the ship going in there. And he just he ran out of time, and the waves. And they started throwing stuff overboard. Everybody was throwing trunks and all kinds of stuff was being thrown overboard. And they also found out when they did an inquiry that the boat was always overloaded. It only had like 5 to 10 inches of freeboard on every trip, which means it was that close to the water. So that was found out in the inquiry back in Mobile when the Coast Guard did it. It was just fascinating history. So that's the Tarpon. So that where Tarpon Dock is now, where the fish market is now, that's where the Tarpon would dock down there here in Panama City. So, and the Apalachicola people, they would send stuff back and forth all along the coastline. So that's the story of the Tarpon. So we talked about the Tarpon fish and then the Tarpon ship. All right, let's take our final break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's do a fishing game time for today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers out of Port St. Joe. 12:13 a.m. to 2:13 a.m. this morning, and after lunch, 12:43 to 2:43. It's going to be hot. There might be some thunderstorms. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I know it's on a Tuesday, but we're going to go ahead and draw for our Tarpon Dock seafood drawing because some of y'all may want to get it before July 4th and get you some shrimp and all, because I'm running down there today and get me some shrimp, and we're going to do a shrimp boil Thursday. So here we go. The $20 gift certificate will be coming on with Nancy Flores, okay? And the big red snapper, if you want it for July 4th, the winner is going to be, all right, all folded up. Ann Gardner from Panama City, 2 ladies, the winner for July 4th. And we got all kind of things coming on the rest of this week. One thing I was telling you about, be aware of the lightning. Here's what's happening. Also, understand camping, a lot of people are in campers. Well, let me repeat that. A lot of people are in campers in the driveways all over the place. And I know they're enjoying it, but I know at the same time, I've got a testimonial from someone I know very well, Stacy Ellisor Grimes. Her dad, Bill Ellisor, and I were best friends for a long time until he passed away. And they're living on the old family property, old Hobbs property up at Deer Point Lake. And Stacy and them are getting, like everybody else, trying to rebuild, but they're living in a camper, she and her husband. And here, she brought us some good points. Things you learn when living in a camper. Okay, this is good. Stacy, thank you for putting this. Camping in a camper is not the same as living in a camper. Hair dryers, number 2, hair dryers don't work at full capacity in a camper like they do in the house. Number 3, you may have a toilet and you may have a sewer, but it's not the same as inside plumbing. I'll spare you details. Number 4, you can't run the AC, the iron, and the microwave all at the same time. That's interesting. And number 5, lightning storms are not fun in a camper. And I'm going to show you what she's talking about because they got hit by lightning the other day, okay? Okay, here we go. The flying bark and everything. This is on Deer Point Lake. This is their camper. A beautiful view, and this storm came up. Look at that storm coming up. You can see it. Now, I'm as a crow flies, probably 3 or 4 miles from her, maybe 5, probably not that far. I'm on the other side of the dam, but we're on the same side of the water, okay? So everything looks hunky-dory. And look what happened. The tree right outside their camper, boom, lightning pops it. Look at the side. See where it went down the side? She said, this was the shortest pine on the side of our house before the hurricane. It's now the only pine in the whole area, and they became a lightning rod. That makes sense, and that's happening. Here's a picture of it. Look at the blue well pump is directly. That's right. This is at a camper. This is how close it was to their camper. So it scared them. Goodness gracious, it scared them. Okay, and then also. There's pine, look at that, it just knocked the pine bark. Pine bark, she said, scattered all over the place, okay? Okay, so I just want to be aware of that. These campers, they're not quite as secure as that brick house, and I scared them. So a couple other things real quick. We got July 4th coming up. I wrote down some do's and don'ts on July 4th. I'm not going to have time to get through all of them. I don't know why I always run out of time on this show. Here's some things to do on July 4th. Do be thankful, okay? Do spend some family time with family and friends, and I know y'all are going to be doing that. Do eat good, okay? We know that. Hot dogs, hamburgers, or you got your barbecue, smoked food, a fish fry, or shrimp boil. Out of those four things, do something, one of those. We're going to do the shrimp boil. Stay cool and hydrate, okay? Understand that. And then also, if you're going to go outside and fish, do early and late. Here's the things, don't do these things. Don't get around a boat ramp if you can help it. Be an active part. But do go down there for entertainment and watch the boat ramps. It's fun on July 4th, okay? On fireworks, watch fireworks, and don't do them yourself because really it's too dry. It's just, don't do fireworks yourself this year. There's going to be some kind of displays all the way around. If you do them on the beach where there's no trees. We just got so many dead trees and all around here. It's just really risky this year. Next one, number 3, traffic. Be careful with the traffic. I personally make it a vow not to drive on July 4th. I just stay there in one area. Don't drive if you can help it on July 4th. It's just going to be a lot of people out. There are like 3.7 million people flying. Also, jet skis. There'll be more jet skis out on July 4th than on Memorial Day. So be aware of that. Also, don't do your bonfires this year. So these are some of the do's and don'ts of July 4th. We've got a lot of things coming up. Do be careful, tongue in cheek on the boat ramp and all, but a lot of people, this is their only time they can really get out. They're coming down here for vacation and they're going to be on the boat ramps and all. And so be careful out there. Be careful of boat speed, especially you folks over there in the Destin area, around that Crab Island. You couldn't pay me $100,000 to go there tomorrow. On July 4th. I'm going to wrap it up. Got a big show lined up. Got a special guest coming in tomorrow. July 4th, we got some video on July 4th, the Triple Trail again, and then some more video on the 5th. So all kind of exciting things. Thank you all for watching our show. We appreciate the viewership. You have a great day. Do something for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.